What was the feeling like going into your finals in 2011?
And going into the finals, I just remember I was really nervous, just because, it was my senior year. Fifth year senior,
Mm.
last opportunity to really get the job done, reach my ultimate goal because, second place wasn't going to cut it. But, I just remember just thinking, it's like, man, I worked years and years and years for this one opportunity. It's like I'm 7 minutes away from either reaching my dream or getting it crushed. And
Mm.
so I was scared, but I remember when I ran out on the tunnel, when I ran out onto the carpet, I got on the mat and I remember looking up at the crowd and I was looking up at the ASU section, and it was cool because, my mom was up there. My three little brothers were up there, my little sister, my high school wrestling coach, actually, both of them.
Mm.
One of my mentors from the wrestling team in high school, Chris, they were all there. And I just remember thinking, like, I put the time in, I paid the price. This is mine. I'm going to go get what's mine. There's nobody that can beat me tonight. And I just went out there and tried to wrestle my heart out.
Was there anything that changed between that year and like a year, like the years before?
I would say it was just, if anything changed, it was more mental.
Mm.
Like I think, up until that point, like, freshman through my junior year, I was always, obviously I always wanted to win, but I think I just put too much pressure on myself, you
Mm.
know? So I think there are times where I kind of like just, I was too defensive. I was wrestling more to not lose rather than wrestling to win.
Yeah.
Um, and after my junior year, I finished seventh place, and it was very humbling. For me, obviously All American is still pretty good, but that's nowhere near where I wanted to be on the podium. And so I took some time off from wrestling that summer. Didn't step on the mat, but I think I needed that just kind of time to recharge. Just kind of
Mm.
refresh. And during that time, I remember getting some letters from this group of third graders, and they were kind of writing me, as their hero of the week, and so that inspired me to come back because I felt like I was wrestling for a bigger cause than just myself. For
Mm.
just a medal. So yeah, I would say really it was just mental. I was on a different place, and I was just thinking, I'm just gonna go out there, I'm gonna have fun, do the best I can, and really I felt like I just opened up much more.
Mm.
Just with my offense and just with my style, it was just really flowing, and didn't leave anything behind. I didn't really didn't feel the pressure anymore.
Makes sense. It's crazy that when you make that shift of like winning being like the ultimate goal and just going out there and wrestling your heart out, it's crazy what it does for your performance and everything.
Yeah, for sure, man. You just go out there, have fun, and just focus on getting better.
Yeah.
It's like just focus on winning the positions. And when you do that, it's like the win is going to take care of itself. The
Yeah.
final outcome, it is going to be what it's going to be. But it's like, yeah, you just loosen up. It's night and day difference.
Yeah. Um, so back when you were coming out of high school, what was the number one reason you went to ASU?
Number one reason, Arizona State, they have a long history of, just amazing wrestlers that have gone through that program.
Mm.
National champions back in '88, as a team. And so, I knew they were tough, and also I grew up in Arizona. I started wrestling here when I was 14 years old in Mesa, won a couple state titles out here. And so it was cool to be the hometown boy.
Mm.
I got to have my support of my family and the local high school coaches. And, but I think a really big thing for me was that Arizona State was one of, two schools really. It was Arizona State, one of the school who just took the time to talk with me.
Mm.
Coming out of high school, I wasn't recruited highly really at all for D1. They
Mm.
didn't think I could compete at that level. And so just for Arizona State to just give me an opportunity, it meant a lot to me. And, I wanted to be.
What's the let me see here. What's the thing you miss the most about your college time?
Thing I missed the most about college time. I don't miss the studying. I don't miss stressing about the test. But man, honestly, I miss wrestling.
Mm.
I just miss that team atmosphere of it. Of course, like practice wasn't always fun, really. It's like
Yeah.
really hated drilling and all that stuff. But I just missed that experience of it. Being around my teammates. Working towards an individual in that common goal. Getting an opportunity to step in the arena in front of the home fans and just scrap. Getting
Mm.
my arm raised, having the fans cheer for me. I just missed that whole experience of it. Of just reaching my goals, and just in wrestling. It's been fun. I've been blessed to travel, speak, and commentate now, but I always still think about just that competition time. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's like a small window, it goes by quick, and when you're going through it, it's like, I'm ready for this to be over. In a way, it's like the stress and like you're putting your body through all that. I mean, intense, the workouts and everything, but it's like, you can't replicate that experience of it.
Mm.
What you go through. I mean, how it pushes you, and I think that's what I miss. It's just that wrestling experience, just being around. And you only get it through wrestling.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different beast compared to anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You have any fun stories from college?
Any fun stories?
What's your best memory? How about that?
My best memory, I mean, besides winning the title, I'd say best memory. I think it was really cool. My freshman year, actually my redshirt freshman year. Hell Week. We're going through Hell Week, and I just remember making it to the end, and that first Hell Week experience it jacked me up. I wasn't expecting that. So I remember just getting down to the end, and as the week went on, more and more guys didn't show up, and so
Yeah.
we're at the end of the week, and the last thing we had to do was Saturday morning. I think it was like 5 or 6 a.m. We had to run up Squaw Peak, and
Mm.
as ASC wrestlers, we know Squaw Peak is kind of like the final initiation. Once
Yeah.
you do that, you're part of the Sun Devil Wrestling family, and so I remember just running up there, and whole team was at the top of the peak, and it was like, I made it. It's like I'm part of this family, I'm part of this team. Accomplish that goal. Now as Sun Devil, it's time to go for the big goal. But just that experience right there, it was special.
Mm-hmm.
Just pushing through that week with these guys that I was just barely getting to know. But by the end of the week, it's like they're suffering like I'm suffering.
Mm-hmm.
But we all have that one common dream in mind, and we're gonna work together to get it. I'm gonna push them, they're gonna push me, and let's get this done. It was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought was so cool. Like even without knowing everybody on like a personal level before, like just going through those hardships, you become like a family just so fast.
Yeah, man, it's special, and especially like I remember coming in. It's like you got these guys. Obviously you're sizing each other up. I'm a freshman. I'm like, okay, he's close to my weight. He's in my weight.
Yeah.
How am I going to stack up against him? So in a way, there's a competition part of it, but there's
Oh yeah.
also the team part of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was cool because some of my best friends today, a lot of my best friends today, are guys that I met at Arizona State, guys on the
Yeah.
wrestling team. We still chill and hanging out, and so it's that brotherhood. It's never ending.
It's a blessing for sure. If you had any advice to give to a young wrestler, maybe just starting his college career, what would you say?
I would say, make sure you get the most out of the experience and just focus on getting better every single day. College, it's a jump, and sometimes it can be pretty challenging for a lot of incoming wrestlers, regardless of their talent level. So I'd say, set those little goals up for yourself. So it's where every day you can kind of, you can keep tabs on how you're doing, on your progress, and stay motivated. And I would say also, just don't just go through the motions. Like as a wrestler, we all learn, double legs, single legs, all that sort of thing. But, I think there comes a point to where, we start practice up and coach says, all right, Joe, your takedowns. You're like, I've done this like thousands of times, which is true. I've been there,
Yeah.
but it's like, don't just go through the motions, take some time. Really focus on breaking it down as best you can. Have your teammates, move a different way, or, do some different setups, just change it up to where you can just dissect every single move, and, you can do it with your eyes closed.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say just get the most of the opportunity. That's how you get better. When you watch the guys in the finals, yeah, every so often you see like some flashy stuff you never seen before. But when you really break it down, it's pretty basic stuff. It's all the same wrestling moves we all know. The only difference is these guys, they can execute it on the best because they've done it in practice like thousands of times. So take advantage of it.
Always more to learn, right?
Exactly.
It's crazy. So during all this quarantine stuff, how have you been adjusting to this new normal?
I've been doing my best like everybody else. It was definitely a surprise. I mean, traditionally right now, this time of year, I'm usually on the road quite a bit, with speaking events. And so right now, as far as speaking events go, my schedule is just wide open. But,
Mhm.
I'm focusing on some other stuff. One of my big things is I always try to improve myself, I always challenge myself to get better. So I set up a little routine every morning. I work out. I got some stuff set up at home here. And then I do something that, just some self-improvement. I'm
Mhm.
reading some books right now. I'm learning about stocks and real estate. And one of the projects I've been working on, actually, I'm really excited about is, I'm getting ready to launch my own podcast. So it's like, I don't have the opportunity to travel and speak, right, but I can still, use technology as a platform,
Mhm.
and so I'm reaching out to people and setting this podcast up. And, that's been my main focus right now. I'm excited. You just got to do what you can with the situation you're in, and just move forward, get better.
Yeah. What was the transition like going from competing to doing all the speaking that you do?
Honestly, at first it was hard.
Mm.
I mean, I love speaking. It's definitely my passion now. And I was really busy um, with speaking events, but it was just hard going from where my goal was so focused on being physically fit, and physically ready to go out there and wrestle, and so it was all the physical stuff. So to have
Yeah.
this time now where I'm not going to the gym in the mornings, I'm not working out for 3 hours later on in the day, I'm not putting in time watching film or whatever.
Mhm.
It was a shift, but uh, as I went through it, I started to realize that I needed to figure out how to use my mindset and how I prepared for wrestling and how I
Mhm.
could apply it to my everyday life, to my career. And once I was able to do that, I started approaching speaking events like, okay, how can I get better? How can I improve every event? What did I do right, and what can I improve on? And the more I did that, the more opportunities I got to speak, and I started branching out. Okay, what more can I add to my career? Like podcasts, like other things. And so now I just approach my life and my career like that wrestling mindset.
Mhm.
Always get better and try to dominate.
What made you, or like how long ago did you decide that this was gonna be your thing? Is it something you always knew, or was it something new that just popped up?
It actually, speaking was kind of something I didn't expect. Um, when I got to Arizona State, and I wanted to be a sports agent, and
Mhm.
so I was a management major, and I was going through the classes, and I got to a certain point, and I think I was like in year two. I want to say I was in year two. Uh, I just really wasn't enjoying the classes, and the more I was kind of researching the career, it was like really cutthroat, and I was
Mhm.
like, this doesn't really fit my personality. I was like, eh. So I started looking into other options and, computer information systems, things like that. And it was actually one of our assistant coaches. He's like, well, we're always getting requests from, local schools for you to go out and talk to the kids, talk to their sports team, their students. He's like, you could possibly make a living in that. He's like, you should look into motivational speaking. And
Yeah.
originally, I mean, I'm kind of like I'm kind of quiet guy, low key. I just like to kind of relax and just kind of, kick back. I
Mhm.
was like, I don't know about this, but I started looking. I was taking some opportunities to go to some schools and speak to the kids and students. And uh, the more I did it, the more I developed a passion for it. And the
Mhm.
passion came from just sharing my message, but then afterwards getting to talk to these kids, and seeing how they were able to resonate with something in my speech and how it motivated them in some way. And so that's where I was like, man, I can make a difference. I could make a living changing lives. I mean, that's pretty cool. How many people can
Yeah.
say they can do that, So, I had that passion start to grow in me. And I think it was right around, let's say my junior year, I switched over to business communications and I started doing public speaking courses. I had an internship with a public speaking coach out here in Arizona. And I didn't look back from there. I just started looking for more and more opportunities. And I was blessed because after my national finals match, the platform was just amazing. All these companies, all these different groups asking me to travel and share, and been cool ever since. Been a lot of fun.
And then what was the moment where you decided you wanted to start tackling all these pull-up records?
I would say it was probably it was a year before my 30th birthday for sure.
Mhm.
And the reason for that was, I won my national title, and after that, like physically, I was working out every day. like
Mhm.
5, 6 days pretty much. And even on Sunday, as I was getting something in like yoga or whatever, but I wasn't pushing myself at a level where I was competing at. I wasn't on that same level. And so I was starting to get bored. I was
Mhm.
like, I'm lifting, benching. It's like, it didn't bring that same hunger out of me, excitement.
Yeah.
And so my 29th birthday, and I'm like, man, I'm going to be 30 in a year. I got some more records I want to break. I want to challenge
Mhm.
myself physically in some way, go on my vision quest. And so, I was like, you know what? My buddy tagged me one day on a Facebook video, and it was at the time it was the record holder for most pull-ups. I
Mhm.
saw that video. I was like, you know what? I want to challenge myself to do the pull-ups. I want to challenge myself to these records,
Yeah.
and so went for it, man. And I'm going for hopefully going for a couple more here. We'll see in the another year or so. But I just wanted to push myself physically.
Yeah, that's cool. It's been fun to watch those. It's been fun to follow. Um,
It's been real neat.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure it's got to be a little bit different, a different challenge for sure.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's been cool just approaching it. How I have just the physical training for it. Like
Mhm.
I'm in my home office right now, but for my first record, which I did a New York Jets game, it was just
Mhm.
most pull up straight body weight. So I had actually a pull up bar set up right there on the doorway, and a 2-story house. So every time I'd come up the stairs, I made it a rule for myself I have to do 40 pull ups.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I got to the point. I was like, man, I don't want to go upstairs. I want to do my pull ups right now. But yeah, it's been a fun way to just test myself physically and mentally to get better and keep me on
Yeah,
my toes.
for sure. All right, so now I think if you're down for it, we can try to watch that finals match.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
All right, let me pull
Never
it
mind seeing that match again.
up.
Yeah, man. I just remember like right there, I was still pretty nervous, soaking in the atmosphere of it all.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I mean, I expected McDonough to kind of come out right out the gate, just call it time with me, just kind of, trying to impose his will. And I mean, that was his style, just being aggressive, just attacking and trying to control the pace of that. So we were hand fighting here. And I want to say it was like 30 seconds into the match.
Mhm.
I started kind of like relaxing. I was like, all right, just like practice, I've drilled this in practice, working my ties here, hand fighting. I was like, I
Yeah,
got to pull the trigger, and it was like right there, you know,
yeah,
that's right there. Honestly, this is where I just relaxed. I was like, pull the trigger. As soon as I fired that first shot, I mean, I've been in this position number of times in practice,
yeah.
so I knew exactly what to do. And man, honestly, right there when I was working for that wrist, I was like, man, if I can get it one time, like I just like one time, like I can turn this dude. And he was fighting it pretty good though.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that grip of yours. Pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah, a lot of work on it. In high school, my high school coach, we had a rock climbing wall.
Yeah,
So like every day before practice, he'd make me climb across, make the team climb across, and I'd do a couple extra.
yeah.
And then I would hang from a pull-up bar with towels. So I would hang from the towels,
Mm,
and I would try to simulate a 7-minute match. But back in high school, it was 6 minutes.
yeah.
So I would hang, and then I try to hold it for 2 minutes without falling, and then once I got to 2 minutes, I drop off for a second, shake off, and right back up. So
Yeah,
I was always building up that grip strength, and it came in handy for sure with those tilts.
that was fun. I remember it was like a year after this. Sean Charles came out to a high school right in my area and ran a little camp. I remember he was showing the same tilt. I remember I was just getting so excited. I was like, I recognize this. I remember where this is from.
Yeah, it's my bread and butter, man. It's I started developing the tilts in high school. My high school coach really helped me to put those together. But then when I got to the college level, I started to figure out how to combine them. Get that
Mm,
chain wrestling going with the tilts, just kind of flowing from one to the next to the next. Because high school you get some tough wrestlers, but not nearly as many as in college. Everybody's tough in college,
yeah.
So it's like high school, I could kind of be a little bit sloppier. I could get a tilt and then let go of the wrist, and then get the
Mm,
wrist again. College, it's like, man, you get that wrist one time, you're good chance you're not going to get it the rest of the match.
yeah,
So
you got to make something happen.
exactly. So that's what's like, all right, I got to make this worth my while here, get that wrist and flow with it. And, started getting those deadly transitions down.
Yeah. Yeah, when you can start using your scoring opportunities to set up more scoring opportunities. It's always good.
For sure. Rack up the points on that scoreboard and kind of give yourself that little cushion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a right there, great first period. I was so happy to get that wrist, like I said, and I just remember, one of the things Coach Charles and I worked on, all year long. He's always telling me, he's like, you got to be stingy in every position.
Yeah.
Like, you got to ride hard. You got to fight. Don't give up anything. No points. And so, that into that first period, I was hanging on that leg. I didn't want to give up escape points, and backed up that lead. I just remember thinking, I wrestle smart. Don't expose myself. Control the match. See my openings, take them, but just wrestle smart.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, McDonough, he was long, lengthy. I always hated the lengthy guys. It's so hard to get deep in on their legs. It's like, man.
125 is such an interesting weight. There's so many different body types you end up seeing down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like the short, long, lanky guys, and you get those short, stocky guys. It's tough.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was interesting.
Wrestling's a crazy sport like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I love about it, man. It's like, you don't have to be the biggest guy. You don't have to be the fastest, whatever. It's like you use your body type and figure out a style that works. And then
you figure it out.
Yeah, just build on it. And see all different types of body types. It's all inclusive for sure.
Mm.
But yeah, I remember. I can't remember the match who he was wrestling. I think it was like Northwestern earlier that year. I was watching McDonough online, and he was in this position. He went with the cow catcher, and he was behind on the scoreboard. He got this cow catcher, put the dude on his back. So I remember I was down there, and I was like, I got the lead. He's gonna look for the cow catcher. He's looking gator roll something. So I was just like, keep my head down, keep my shoulders shrugged up. Don't give that open. That's what I was worried about right there. Is that, watch that cow catcher. And this honestly felt like the longest match of my life too.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, like I wasn't, my conditioning held up. That wasn't a factor, but
yeah.
But I think it was cool. Feeling like the longest could really just kind of. I was in but I was also just in that moment of it all. I mean, hearing the crowd like yelling and like all the cameras flashing, just being on that platform. It was an amazing experience. So I'm glad I wasn't freaking out. I'm glad I was able to kind of absorb the whole thing, the whole experience of it.
Yeah, it's like time flows a little different when you're in those big stages, on those big matches.
Mm-hmm. I think the key, the guys who are successful, they just learn how to manage it.
Yeah.
Like whether you soak in the moment, if you can slow things down, but it's like, you start panicking up there, you start seizing up. It's no good.
Yeah, you kind of guy that fed off the crowd a lot?
What's that?
Did you feed off the crowd, or did you kind of like zone them out?
I did feed off the crowd, man. It got me excited, and I always made it a point, especially at Arizona State when I was wrestling, I wanted to make my matches exciting. I didn't want to win by like 1 or 2 points, or I wanted to go out there and score a ton. Make it fun for like the fans to watch. So when they got into it, they started yelling. It got me hyped up. It got me going even more. And so that was one of the things, like in this match, that first period when I got the takedown, like the crowd just started like yelling. They got loud, and that fired me up a lot. So it's definitely something that helped me in my wrestling. Just hearing the fans, having them cheering, and it was a good feeling for sure. But yeah, see, we were here wrestling, and see, he kept coming out to the front like that. I knew
that cow catcher.
Cow catcher, gator roll, cement makers, or whatever. Yeah, man, I knew that's what he wanted. So I was like, hey, if he's gonna come out, I'm just gonna stay low, because I know he still didn't give me an escape there. So like, I'm just gonna, if he wants to just keep playing this game, I'm defensive with it. It's like I put my points on the board. I'm not gonna expose myself. So
yeah, you got a big enough lead. You got all the time you need.
Yeah.
To hang out.
Seen 2 matches where guys are winning, and then at the end something big happens. Like this is not gonna be me. It's not my story. But man, McDonough was tough though. I mean, he is somebody, multiple time national champion in those numerous times, and I had his picture in my locker my senior year. Like all season long, I'd look at him. It's like, this is the best guy. This is who I need to beat. This is who I'm training for. So I got a lot of respect for Matt.
What was the first thoughts going through your head after that last whistle?
Man, I remember when I put my head down on the mat, just hearing the roar of the crowd, and it was cool because at that moment I didn't feel pain anymore. Like my muscles weren't sore and exhausted. I was like, man, this is finally a reality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had dreamed about that before. Just that moment, I had dreamed about winning a national title. And it was like, man, that's that opportunity right there. And thinking it was all worth it. This is better than I could have imagined. And running over to my coach and picking me up, the crowd standing and giving me a standing ovation. It was really a dream that I never woke up from, honestly.
I hear you. It's a crazy feeling. That hug after you win with the coaches is always something special. It
definitely is. It's like a lot of people from the outside wrestling. Yeah, it's an individual sport, but like there's so much that goes on, in the wrestling room, with your coaches, with your teammates, your training partners, those main guys. It's like you wouldn't be on that stage without them, And I mean, Coach Charles, for me, he put in ways that I didn't really expect. He challenged me to get better, to grow, and he really helped me to get to that next level. So I didn't like it when I was going through it. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't fun, But when I got there and I understood, why he challenged me, why he pushed me, and I could see the results of it. I was just grateful and blessed to have such a great staff around me, him and Brian Stith.
And then walking off the mat here, your last college match, what's that feeling?
Man, that was special. It was bittersweet, to win the title. And so, I took a second to acknowledge the crowd because they're still standing and clapping, saying goodbye. And it was crazy because I come out, I go underneath the tunnel and, I'm waiting there to get my trophy. But when I go back, I think that's when it officially just hit me that I was done, because I'm sitting in the one of the locker rooms on the corner, and down there it was Kale Sanderson was down there, and I just remember to him for a second, and I just remember walking away from him and I just started crying. I was like, man, it's the end of the journey, It was a bittersweet moment right there, but just very grateful to have been able to have that journey and experience what I did and come out on top.
Yeah, it's a crazy journey you've had so far. It'd be fun to see where it goes next,
I can't wait, man. I'm blessed with some opportunities and just doing my best to pursue them and really make the most of it, and also I realize now that, it's not all about me, like we learned on the wrestling journey, you don't do it alone. I didn't get here alone. And so I want to help other people reach their mountaintops, win their wrestling matches. And, that's my new goal right now, besides the pull-up stuff is, helping to give back and aid others.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, I think that's all we got here. So thank you very much thanks for your time and everything. It's been fun.
My pleasure, bro. It's a good catching with you, and always, go Devils. And hopefully you guys get back into that wrestling room. And I know you're all itching to start scrapping again, prepping for next year. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it'll be good. I'll see you back there in Tempe sometime soon.
For sure, man. Here.
See ya.